Hey B, yeah? What's your plan for 2025? What's my plan for 2025? Yeah. Journeying with God.
Just in your imagination.
What's going on, everybody? It's your girl B. Yes, it's me. Back at it again with another episode. Episode 2. Listen, welcome back. I just want to say thank you to everybody who has subscribed, liked, supported, sent me text messages, called, slid up, on my story, DMs, whatever. All senses of encouragement. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I want to say thank you. You don't know how much that has blessed me, how much that has encouraged me, how much that has helped me, and it made me feel good. It made me feel like I heard God right, and that there is a significance in telling my story and my experiences and my journey with God, so that it could help somebody else. And so I wanted to get that out of the way before we got into this new episode. Welcome back to my new series, Journeying with God. Welcome back to the channel, The Becoming. All right. So if you haven't subscribed, if you haven't, locked in with me, do that. So we're gonna jump straight into today's episode. I kind of was like trying to figure out which. I knew what I wanted, but the Lord took me another route. And so, without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. All right, today's episode 2, the topic for today is, are you really committed? Are you really committed? What's commitment? Commitment is a pledging. It's a obligation. It's a stance of dedication to something, someone, someplace. It's almost a promise to do something, or to be, or to act, or to behave in a certain way. So as I was getting this download, right, about because originally the topic that I had, the Lord changed, and so we're going to do it, just not this week. It'll be the following. I was driving to the church. I had to play at a church. As I was driving, the Lord was, I was praying and talking to God, and my mind started to think, and I started to think on some of the behaviors that we see today in people, and the way that they live, and the way that they move, and the way that they are just kind of like wherever the wind blows. They're unsettled. They're not committed. They're not dedicated. As I was thinking on these things, I'm like, God, and I'm talking from a self-experience. At some point, you've got to want it so bad that nothing will stand in the way of it. And it meaning freedom, meaning deliverance, meaning change, your relationship with God, your sanctification. You've got to want it so bad that nothing else matters, nothing else gets in the way, that you are so committed that you have found your place in a fight to stay true to what it is that you say you desire and you need. Committed enough to say, I'm going after this. My mind is on straight. My head is on straight. I'm going after, I'm not stopping. I'm not giving up. I'm not about to be all over the place. I think about hunger, and a true hunger is a desire or a need, and the need to be fulfilled. Like there has to be some substance. When you're really hungry, you're going to do whatever you need to do to get what you need. That's spiritual terms, that's natural terms. When you get to the point where you allow God to fill those unfulfilled places, and you're feeding on the right things, and you're getting, what you need from God and all of these things, it leaves little to no, leaning more to no space for these extra, like I'm so consumed with God that I'm not looking for anything else. Jesus is enough. God is enough. He fills every space. He fills the void in my life. I am not looking for quick urge. I'm not looking for a quick craving. My hunger is for God, and that's what I'm going after. So because my hunger is for God and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, I'm committed to God. I'm committed to chasing after Him. I'm committed to seeking His face. I'm committed to feeding on His word. Because I'm doing those things, there is no time or space for me to look outside of Him. I'm too focused on Him. I'm too focused on what it is He's saying. I'm too focused on what it is that He wants me to do. It gets to a point where you have so much of Him in you until the desire to do anything outside of Him no longer exists. Why? Because your love for Him, your commitment to Him, the vow you made, the outcome you want to see, the goals you have set, the change of mind that you have had, it becomes different. It becomes a different fight. And then I can do better with denying distractions. I can stay focused. My desire for wanting to walk upright before God, wanting to be righteous, wanting to be sanctified, wanting to be holy, that desire is stronger than anything else. I've made up in my mind that I'm not looking for anything else. All other options, they don't hold a weight to God. It's literally got to get to that point that all these other options that the world says I can touch, have, that's at arm's reach. I'm at a place in my life, I'm at a place in my walk in God, I'm at a place in my sanctification that those things don't matter. Because there's a bigger picture. There's an end goal. There is something that I'm betting on, and what I'm betting on is my commitment to God, my relationship with Him, and to see that thing through. Let's talk about denying distractions. I honestly feel like certain things are not as hard as we make them. A lot of things are just based upon, can you say no? Can you say no? Can you turn away? Can you turn around? Can you not entertain? Are you able to walk out no? We understand that God has given us all free will, right? God is not a dictator. He allows us to make the choices that we do make. We've all got our own minds. The Bible says He will provide a way of escape when temptations present themselves. Let's be honest. Let's think back. Any moment you've ever been in front of, facing, around temptation, just think back. There was something that occurred that was your way out. But what did we do? Close our eyes, close our ears, can't see, oh, we deaf, we blind now. Huh? What happened? I'm just going to do what it is that I have in my heart to do, and then I'll ask God, forgive me. Oh, God, please help me, forgive me. No. The opportunity to say no, to get out, to escape, was present. But we override God, we override the Holy Spirit, and we do what it is that we want to do. Here's the thing. You cannot entertain your temptation and expect freedom. It don't work like that. It does not work like that at all. You're playing in your temptation's face and expecting a different outcome. How so? Proverbs 4:14-15 says, "Do not set foot on the path of the wicked or walk in the way of the evildoers. Avoid it. Do not travel on it. Turn from it and go on your way. Here's the other thing. A lot of us are not mindful of our environments and surroundings. You eventually will become or adapt to what you're around. I remember being around certain behaviors, right? With people my age and friends, whatever. And there were things that they would be doing. And because you're around them and they're doing it, after a while, you look up and one day you doing it, or a word done slipped, or you interested in doing something, or you talking this way, or you moving this way. And it's like, wait a minute, I've never had that kind of issue. But you eventually become what you are around. It's crazy for me to keep indulging in something or playing with it, thinking that something different is going to happen. No, the more you indulge, the more you play, the more you feed, the more you interact, the more it puts its grip, and the grip gets tighter. I'm telling you, I'm talking from what I know. We see it often. We all see it, I'm sure, whether we talk about it spiritually or naturally. People will literally try to heal in the same environments that they got sick in. How so? How can you even try? It doesn't work. It doesn't work. You're not going to be successful. When you make a change, when you make up your mind, when you turn over a new leaf, when you do these things and you confess to God and you make these vows, not only to God but to yourself, of what you're going to do, what you're not going to do, what changes you're making. You cannot make these changes and stay in some of these environments. Some of these environments, some of these surroundings, some of these people are the reason or helping. They're helping the devil's attempt to keep you in what you're in or what you've come out of. Some things have to change. Places, environments, surroundings, people, circles, friends, whatever, connections. Some things have to change. Sometimes up here you might be strong enough to be able to say, I can do this without it being anything. I can do this without me slipping up. I could do this without. I could be around without anything getting perverted. I can show up without anything getting misconstrued. Some. But what about the other party? And I'm talking from experience. If their mindset is not where yours is, and they have not made the decision to lock in with God, strengthen their relationship, work on their sanctification, they are going to always be an issue. I'm thinking back to a particular instance in my mind personally, thinking that, okay, you can just be friends. It don't have to be none of that. You could just be friends. Okay, in your mind, you could just be friends, but I'm telling you, that temptation, and it might not come from you. It might come from the other party. You're going to be tried. You're going to be tried. But it's then, do you make the decision to lay down and get jiggy with whatever's presented? Or you stand on your confession, or you stand on what you said. No, I'm not doing this. I said no. I'm going after God. My relationship with Him is too important. My journey is too important. My sanctification is too important. I cannot indulge in frivolous activities that gonna lead me that are gonna lead me away from God, lead me back into sin, lead me eventually, if I don't get right, to hell. I don't have the time. I don't have the time. It's saying a long time ago, You are what you eat. That statement is so true. It's undeniably true. We are like sponges. If it's around you, eventually you will start to soak up something. Good environments, bad environments. I'm talking about all of it. Eventually you will start to become what you are around. But the problem is we've got too many people being chameleons. Blending in, and we're hiding out, and we're laying low, and we adapting to any and every little thing. And the problem with those that take on the behavior of a chameleon is if you're not there to bring change, you shouldn't be there. After you've made a change, after you've made a confession, after you've been working on yourself and you're going through the process and you tightening up your relationship with God and you're in there, you're doing what you got to do. Why would I be going back to old environments if I'm not going back to bring change? If I'm not going back to be the change, if I'm not going back to be the standard, if I'm not going back to show them the difference, to show them that it's obtainable. I'm not going back to be like y'all. I'm not going back to do what we used to do. That's not why I'm here. My mama always says, after a while, somebody gonna draw somebody. Either you gonna do the drawing or they gonna do the drawing. It's inevitable. But if you just stay away, if you stay clear of these things, you can avoid temptation. Here's the other thing. You must have discipline. Everything that I'm saying is what I've been on my journey. And so I'm not trying to preach at y'all. I'm just, we're having a conversation and we're talking about the reality of this life. You must have discipline. Galatians 5:16 says, so I say, walk by the Spirit, and you will not gratify the desires of the flesh. The Holy Spirit provides the inner strength to resist temptation. The Holy Spirit guides you in making righteous decisions. Jesus will always provide a way of escape. You don't have to sin. You don't have to fall. You don't have to slip. And I know that might be a little hard to hear, because some of us, we rest in it, especially my generation, we rest in the fact of, I ain't perfect and we fall in God and da-da-da. Okay. Okay. But the excuses gotta stop. Finding stuff to try to back up your fall and your sin when you're willfully premeditating and willfully sinning, that's a whole different something. Everything begins with a choice. God gives us the freedom of choice. What choices will you make? Where is your commitment level? Do you see the importance of God? Do you see the importance of your relationship with Him? Do you see the importance of what you said you would do? How committed are you? What are you feeding yourself? What are you eating? What are you meditating on? What are you watching? What are you listening to? It's a real deal. It's a real deal. I may get a little, it's a real deal. Let's talk about B. For me, I know the difference between when I've been consistent in my prayer time, in my reading of my word, in my meditation. I know the difference between that and when I've missed moments, when I've missed time, when I've chosen other things, computer, word, this, that, over making time, carving out time for God. I could feel that difference. I can feel that feeling like I'm out the loop. When I'm feeding myself with wholesome things and things of the Spirit and good things, my mindset is different. My spirit is different. My energy is different. There have been times where I've not been in the Word like I should, praying like I should, meditating, spending time with God like I should. going about my day, consuming different things, whether that's from the TV, the phone, social media, the internet, giving attention to the wrong things, and in turn, feeling sluggish, feeling out of place, feeling different, feeling, and I know I'm not the only one. I know that. Let's even go as far to say this. There are certain things that I don't watch. There are certain conversations that I don't have. There are certain things that I don't participate in. I believe that the ear gates and the eye gates, that those are real things. I was taught that way. I believe it. What you watch, what you listen to, it will get inside of you. Call it deep, call it extra, I don't care. You will feed on a thing, listen to a thing, watch a thing, make these moments and meditate on a thing, and soon that thing will be in you. You'll find yourself doing what you saw, saying what you heard, acting out actions, having urges to do what you've been meditating on. You've digested that thing, and now you find yourself almost regurgitating it. It has gotten in you, and so now you're on the same type of time. Everybody's convictions are different, right? We know that. What some people can do and be alright, others can't, and that's up to you. But something my first lady says, / Mama Bear, / Overseer Boyd, something she always says is, do what your soul can afford. I must say that again because she ate up with that. Do what your soul can afford. Thank you for that quote, Mama. Think about music. And again, everybody's convictions are different, but I've seen this happen. I've experimented with this. Think about music. Let's think about rap. The tone and the spirit that they're doing it in most times is really aggressive. It's laced with violence and murder and sex and drugs, and it's all wrapped up in their lyrics. And they're talking about the demons they battling and all these different things. And you just listening to it, and that stuff is spewing out, getting right into you. After a while, now you're saying the things they're saying. You're desiring the things that they are engaging with. You're mad. That spirit of aggression and anger comes on you. Now you waking up, you don't even know what you're mad about. You got attitude, you want to fight, you got pressure on your chest, and you have digested the wrong thing. It's literally all spiritual if you ask me. I've seen it where people digest that kind of music and they turn into whatever they've been listening to. And you take it away and it's like they snap out of it and they become whatever they've replaced that with. You got to be careful because you start to take on the spirits and the feelings and the emotions and the life of the people that wrote the lyrics and that are singing the lyrics, and you just listen to it because it's a good time and you jamming it because the beat bopping. I'm telling you, you better be careful. And I'm talking from experience because I experimented with that. One, I never forget, I was in college and I said, there was some album that came out from some popular artist, rapper. And of course, most of what they were talking about is sex, money, drugs, alcohol, who they killing and all, whatever, violence, aggression, anger, all that. I didn't experiment, and I think I didn't even make it to a week. I think I did like 2 or 3 days because I wanted to see the effects. After listening to that stuff, I started to take on the feelings of the artist. Now I'm walking around mad, feeling like I could. Girl, sit your tail down. Becoming what I've digested. Becoming what I've put into my spirit, man. And I know that probably sounds deep and I might lose some people, but it's the truth. It's the truth. You gotta be careful what you're intaking. That ain't just with food, natural food. That's everything. Be careful what you're engaging in. Be careful what you're taking part in. And I'm not saying that listening to other genres is bad. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is watch what you feed yourself. Another thing, idleness. Idleness will have you in a place doing things that you don't have no business doing. You've literally got to stay busy. You've got to find the right things to be a part, the right things to do, the right communities to be a part of. You've got to find things to fill space and time. Having a good church home helps. Having a community of believers helps. Having a good circle of friends helps. Having good advisors, mentors, spiritual leaders helps. Having a good job, a good work environment helps. It helps you to stay focused. It helps you to always have things to do. My time is filled. My space is filled. I don't have time to think about, okay, I'm bored. I'm not doing nothing. What can I get into? Or the enemy slip a thought in your mind. And now you're engaging. Now you're entertaining it. And then next thing you know, you done did it. My spiritual mother said, an idle mind is the devil's playground. And I know that to be true. You've got to keep yourself busy. You've got to keep yourself disciplined. You got to keep yourself on a regimen. You've got to stay the course. You've got to find supplements. You've got to get these things in you to the point where you don't have the desire, the urge, or the want to do anything outside of what you've been digesting. So to stay committed, you must have discipline. You must deny distractions. You must watch what you're digesting, what you're intaking. Your decision, your stance, your fight, your chase for God, your chase, your fight, your desire, your hunger for God and the things of God and whatever it is that you do need from God has to be so strong. It has to be so big that is what you're focused on God. I'm so focused on God that I don't desire anything behind me. I don't desire anything that's wayward or off the tee of where I'm supposed to be. I'm going after God. Here lately, with everything that's been just transpiring, different preachers have been preaching on it, but me and my spiritual mother, we have really been like talking about this thing over and over about there must be a standard. There has to be a separation. You either gonna be in or you gonna be out. What do you say about that lukewarm stuff? He hates it. He will spit you out of his mouth. You have to pick a side. There has to be a separation. You cannot teeter, totter, dibble. I'm telling you, that stuff leads to a dead end. You have to be sure. You've got to be dedicated. You've got to be committed. You've got to want your sanctification. You've got to want your scent before God to smell good. You've got to want Him to be pleased. Your heart has to want the things of God. Your mind has to want the things of God. Like the old saints used to say, I got a do right mind. My mind wants to do right. And with all of my human ability and all my spiritual ability, I'm going to do my best to do just that. Do right. I want God to be pleased. I've got a God to glorify. There's a God I got to stand in front of. There's a God I got to answer to for the things I did in the earth, for how I treated people, all of these things. I am committed to living a righteous life. I'm committed to living a life before God. I'm committed to my sanctification. I'm committed to being holy, to being like God. You've got to be committed. And I'm realizing that. I see it around me. I see it, we see it social media, whatever various ways. Sometimes people that are literally right around us, they have commitment issues. You don't commit. They're not committed to anything. Actually, not committed to God, not committed to a community of believers, a church, just not committed at home, not committed on your physical job, your earthly job, not committed. There is a commitment problem amongst us. Are you really committed? How committed are you? Are you committed enough to say, hey partner, I know we go way back. I can't. I'm not on that type of time. Hey fam, I know we share blood. I'm not doing that. I can't be around that. I'm not. Are you committed enough to say bye to what feels good to flesh? Flesh is going to send you down a road that you're going to have a hard time coming back from. It's not worth it. The end result. The wages of sin is death. Because we can find our ways to be committed to everything else. We're committed to everything else. We're committed to people, these different people, and these different relationships, and these connections, and these jobs, and these different things in our lives. We find a way to be committed to everything else but God. We give him anything. Well, I showed up, or I'm doing this, or I gave my... Your heart is all wrong. You've got to be committed. It's got to be in you. It's got to be in your heart. Lord, I love you. Lord, I honor you. Lord, I praise you. Lord, I want your will to be done. I surrender mine. I surrender my will for yours. I want what you want for my life. I don't want to be off kilter. I don't want to be off center. I don't want to be out of your way. Lord, I love you so much. I honor you so much. I want you so bad. I'm hungry for you, for the things of you, for your spirit, for your indwelling, for your presence in my life. That I'm committed to staying hungry. I'm committed to working out my own soul salvation. I'm committed to becoming a better person, a better believer, a better disciple, a better Christian. I'm committed to doing what you say do. I'm committed to abstain from sin. I'm committed. And why am I committed? Because I love you. Pastor Shawanda Reed preached a message. And in the message, she talked about how much she loved her husband. And she just loves him. She respects him. She honors him for who he is, what he's done, who she is in her life. And that she loves him so much that she would never do anything intentionally, willfully, to hurt that man. And she put it in the perspective of that's how it got to be with God. You got to be so committed to your relationship with him. You got to love him so much that you care about him, that you don't want to hurt him. God, I don't want to hurt you. God, I want to do what's right. Put that thing before God. The problem is we don't want to give up stuff. We want to hold on. We want to dip. We want to do. We want to backtrack. You've got to commit to God in a way that nothing else or nobody else matters. Why? Because your life depends on it. So, as I'm wrapping up, I pray today that this conversation helps. That this conversation, works on your mind like, God, I want to be committed. That it strengthens the desire. For those who are very committed, that it strengthens your hunger and chase and desire to be committed. For those who have been having issues, that it reignites your hunger to be committed. Commit yourself to God. Commit yourself to the things of God. It matters. You're going to need it. I hope and pray that this video spoke to you. These are personal experience and me giving the story or me sharing what I've learned and what I have walked through, what I'm walking through, whatever, journeying with God. And in my journey with God, I want to be able to help somebody else. And so I pray that this video helped. I pray that this video spoke to you. I pray that this video ignites a hunger in you to go after God like never before. To commit to Him, to commit to His ways, to follow Him, to lock in with Him, to choose Him over everything else. I pray that your commitment to God will grow, that it will be firm, that your foundation won't be shaky. All right. That's all I got for today. I know that was a little rough, but it's the truth. This is The Becoming, and we are journeying with God. I love everybody. I hope you watch to the end, and we love positive feedback. Can't wait to see you on the next video. Stay tuned. We out.